Hi guys, so I wanted to share a personal story with you. It was Monday evening. I was with a few other guys from my local church where we had just had a lovely evening together of playing games, eating pizza and having beers. Now one of the lads worked out in the sticks as a carpenter and had skillfully converted a warehouse into a living space where we were meeting. The atmosphere was fun and light, and the setting sunlight cast a beautiful warm orange glow in the room. Its welcoming heat warmed us as we laughed and chatted together around a large square handmade wooden table. The convener of the meeting, Adam, a tall well-built chap with mousy brown hair and a week's worth of stubble on his face, then discussed some ways that we, as guys, could work together in community initiatives where we live. As he talked, I looked around the room at each of the guys, who, like me, had made a conscious choice to live in this difficult area in Leeds. This wasn't just a normal group of guys, but a group of Christians who didn't want to theoretically talk about loving people in the church and then drive back to nice middle-class suburbs, but wanted to practice what they preach and actually live in a challenging area, raise their families here, and love their neighbours, many who have challenging lives. So when the meeting came to a bit of a lull, Adam then asked everyone if they wanted to pray. It was at that point when I felt knots deep within my stomach. My throat felt bone dry, and I was aware that my breathing was unusually fast. In recent months, I had felt let down by this community, not supported, and quite lonely. Despite wanting to meet up with them and suggesting activities, they were often too busy with their lives, and I pondered if this grand ideal of loving others outside the church was at the expense of loving those within the church. I was upset, and I certainly didn't want to take part in prayer, a spiritual sign of unity when I felt unloved and unwanted. I had a choice. Do I be honest with everyone with how I felt and possibly destroy the unity that was being built up among us guys? Or do I stay silent and pretend to be okay and just not get involved in these plans in the future? I took a deep breath, holding out for a few seconds and then feeling the blood rushing to my head. Then I breathed out. Time seemed to move slowly, and my window of opportunity for speaking was fading. I worried whether people would take me seriously, if I would bring the mood down, and at worst that I would be rejected by everyone and asked not to be part of this community anymore. I blurted out, I want to pray with you guys, but the truth is that I just don't trust you. I choked on some of my words as I openly told them how I felt let down when no one had come to the open mic that I had performed at recently, of how I had felt isolated and not supported, and of the hurt that I had felt in the last few months. I felt awkward and played with my hands, trying to avoid the other people's gazes. It spilled out for a minute, and then when I had finished, I looked around me. The silence was palpable, and I felt lightheaded and uncharacteristically shy. So what came next was a massive shock to me. One by one, each guy spoke about his reservations, about the initiatives, and the hurts that he had felt being part of this community, and how he truly felt being part of it. Once everyone had spoken, we prayed together, and it felt like we had entered this sacred space, one of unity and belonging, and it felt our friendships had all deepened by honest and vulnerable sharing. The newfound bond and camaraderie was palpable. So on the drive home, my younger brother and friends sat at the front of the car, chatting excitedly away at how powerful the session felt, and seeing the raw vulnerability on display for the first time. I gazed out of the side window on the back seats of the slightly dilapidated silver Honda Civic. Sinking deep in my seat, I felt a sense of elation, but deeply deflated. Being vulnerable had taken all of my energy. I knew I had given a precious gift of myself away, but glad that I had helped others open up them honestly too. So, why am I sharing this story with you guys? For many of us, there are times in our life when we have this deep sense that we need to speak up. This may have been at school, when you saw bullying but stayed silent, at work, when a decision was being made that you believed to be wrong, but you didn't speak out, or when a friend asks you how you're doing and you just say, "Oh, I'm fine," and then steer the conversation away to something else when really inside you are in a chaos mode and only just about keeping it together. You may want to open up, but don't want to burden the other person, appear weak, and embarrass yourself. Fear is completely understandable, but not speaking out may cause you to forever regret not speaking. In the right settings, whether it is with friends, family, or in a work context where you have a deep conviction that a decision is wrong, speaking out honestly and vulnerably can be so valuable. And through doing this in the different settings over the years, just like about the example I spoke about earlier, it has been wonderful to see how by modeling vulnerability and speaking up, it's given others permission to speak up too. By being more authentic in the last few years, my friendships have deepened and I feel closer to my family. I can even say, I love you, something that I had really struggled to say in the past. So, my ask of you today, if you could do one thing this week, I would love for you to be honest and open with your colleagues and your friends when they ask you how you're really doing. And especially at a time like this, it's just so important to have support networks around you. Then, after you responded to that saying how you're doing, then I'd encourage you to ask them how they're doing, with curiosity and trying not to be judgmental or interrupting. I think you'll be surprised at how much they open up, and you may learn something new about them. I hope you have a lovely week. Look after yourself and take care. Bye.